as a cultural heritage care the 2023 Norway Open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think the venture has been your personality. This distinguished lady thank you so much for everything that you raised this occasion. Swiftly, we have asked Abuja, Abuja, 772 GF. If you have that figure, one of my family go out, I think you have created a hitch somewhere. Please go and rectify that. Please, I don't know the Institute of Continuous Legal Education are ready for also to take their to the role of filling the form, as is the tradition usually we fill the form after the law week. So, okay. I'm sorry, so please can we appreciate the lady comfort to give us a special allocation. Good morning. My name is Shara Kurama. Also, okay, taking ahead of the monitoring law, and I also for a well-organized program. Okay, please commit to participate in the program. We need more lawyers. I think last time I came, and from the announcement things that the branch is doing well for their organization and their announcement. So we take its reach offer and we need all to be involved and to listen. Because the lobby is not where you are. It's an annual program, right? So you have to really participate so you gain something from your career. And in doing that, we will circulate our funds, which you feel. And for you to gain something, I think I'm explained very well. Gain something and tell yourself, gain this, I'm going to use it for my practice for the next year law week. Thank you for having me, and I wish you all well.
Thank you very much. I think we are gradually coming to the high point of the event. That's why at this point, I will urge to listen with very rapt attention as I invite our erudite professor who is going to deliver the keynote address. And ladies and gentlemen, this morning, join me as I welcome to the podium Professor Chris M. Kwaja, who is going to deliver the keynote address. Please, a round of applause as he comes forward. clapping with the concept. Thank you so much, sir.
Permit me to stand on the protocol already established this morning, not just for want of time, but to also say once the protocol has been established, all you do is to just continue, because I will just be repeating myself. When the chairman was speaking about not being a lawyer, when I was approached to come and give this keynote address, I asked the same question. I said, "I'm not a lawyer." And they said, "We know you're not a lawyer, but we're also counting on you to use a non-legal lens to look at this very complex, vexed, and challenging issue. But most importantly, also to, on the basis of your own interaction with the law, engage this very complex issue that we are confronted with as a people." When I graduated from, my focus was to go and make pharmacy. And I had this very unusual encounter with two people. One organizer at Basel, late, may so rest in peace, the brother to my general, organizer that was a lawyer. And in the course of my interaction with them, they were always involved in this argument of politics and law. And through that process, I took a decision not to go for pharmacy, and I opted for political science. And in the course of my study in political science, I also had, in the course of my study in political science, I was always in faculty. And I liked the teacher. And I was a honorary member of the teacher. And ever since I graduated, I think law is one key area that I've had. And in my post-graduation life, I've had three very important experiences. The first experience is the one of being a lecturer, that would be the professor of international relations and scientific studies. The second is in public service, where I had the opportunity of serving as the Director General of Research and Planning in the Governor's Office, as well as Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. The third half of my life, which is the most controversial and complex, is my 5 years experience within the United Nations as the African representative of the UN Working Group of Scenarios. My mandate is to monitor the activities of the scenarios across the world. And in the course of doing that, I was also tasked with this very complex responsibility of addressing the UN General Assembly every year, as well as addressing the UN Human Rights Council every year. Now, why is that experience a complex one? It is because the UN Assembly that is seated in New York is a political setting. And the UN Human Rights Council that is seated in Geneva is more about law and rights. And if you don't know how these two work, you can go to New York, speak for 2 hours about human rights, and when you finish, they will say, "Thank you, I have no discussion." Something the wrong thing and the wrong thing. If you go to Geneva and we begin to discuss issues of policy and politics, they will tell you you are also in the wrong place. Here we are talking about human rights. Now, when you take this experience down to Nigeria and ask yourself, in the National Assembly where laws are made, are they conscious of the political implication, the governance implication, the humanitarian implication, the security implication of decisions made? When you move to the villa and the government houses where decisions are made, are they conscious of the implications of the law or the legal implications of many decisions? And I'm saying this because of my own extra experience in government, where decisions have been taken at the level of the state executive council without looking at the legal implications of such decision and the cost of millions and millions. And we are all focused Saturday at the bottom standard, where the tension between law and politics was quite clear. And when we can financial crime, all these tensions happen, where judges were even attacked by politicians for taking legal decisions to protect themselves. Because the clash between politics and law is one in which politics also at the expense of law. And when you look at what we are confronted with today about the level of civil trust of that group, that overbearing influence of politics that is supposed to set the benchmark, the key parameters, and the basis upon which policy. I will be reading my speech just for the records. And what I'm doing with the speech is basically to place on the table some key issues that will inform the kind of debates or discourses that will arise from this meeting. Distinguished members of the Nigerian Bar Association, esteemed legal practitioners, honored guests, and advocates of justice, I profoundly honor and stand before you today that lies at the very core of your professional endeavors and societal aspirations. Our discourse transcends the immediate confines of legal chambers and courtrooms as we embark on a comprehensive exploration of law and policy in Nigeria, a checked policy. Law and policy are critical to every human society. Every society progresses or retrogresses to the extent that it adopts the right laws to prohibit harmful, disruptive behaviors and punish offenders. What law normally does is to prescribe acceptable behaviors and impose sanctions on unacceptable behaviors, whereas policy gives a clear direction on how to use resources to achieve the nation's main objective. As a result, countries develop laws and policies to meet evolving trajectories and keep up to date with some of their own strategies on how they want to govern society. Policies tend to complement law. Policies flow from what the law has provided us, but specifically guide actions and how resources are utilized. But overall, the law prescribes what should be acceptable and what should not be acceptable, including the accompanying sanctions or punishments. It is important at this point to provide some very brief explanations of these definitions with regard to law and policy in our discussion this morning. According to Gibbs in 1968, law can be defined as a system of rules, regulations, and principles established and enforced by a governing authority to regulate behaviors within a society. It is a set of norms that govern the relationships and interaction between individuals, groups, and institutions, aiming to maintain order, resolve disputes, and ensure justice. Law encompasses a wide range of areas, including criminal, civil, administrative, and constitutional law, and it serves as a framework for promoting fairness, equity, and the protection of rights and responsibilities within a given legal jurisdiction. On the other hand, policy is defined as a set of principles, guidelines, and strategic objectives formulated and implemented by an organization, government, or other authoritative bodies to address specific issues, achieve defined goals, or guide decision making. Policies serve as a framework for making consistent and informed choices, often in the pursuit of societal, organizational, or governmental objectives. They provide a basis for decision making, resource allocation, and the establishment of standards, helping to shape and direct action and behaviors within a given context. Policies can span various domains, including public administration, corporate governance, healthcare, education, and beyond. Law and policies are intricately and interdependently connected in that they both play crucial roles in shaping, guiding, and regulating the function of society. While they are distinct concepts, they often influence one another. The essence of law and policy in society is multifaceted. Law serves several fundamental purposes that contribute to the overall well-being, stability, and justice within the community, especially in the area of maintenance of order and fairness, promotion of government accountability, promotion of public safety, social cohesion, human dignity and equality, as well as peaceful coexistence. Similarly, policies provide a framework for decision-making, action, and governance, and also serve as instrumental tools for addressing societal challenges, achieving specific goals, and promoting the well-being of individuals and communities. We must also note that any society that wishes to progress must, as a matter of priority, pay attention to the kind of law it enacts or the kind of policy that it formulates. What this entails is that laws and policies should be robust enough to drive development, justice, and equity. While the realm of law is in the purview of lawyers, the realm of policy operates more for the bureaucrats and technocrats. And the key question for us is where is the convergence point between these two actors as we focus on the governance of our society. Now, as we reflect on our odyssey from independence, what has been the trajectory from the colonial era down to Nigeria? In the context of Nigeria, the country has undergone a complex journey in the realm of law and policy. The nation has traversed intricate and equally challenging paths in shaping its legal and policy landscape. The root of Nigeria's legal system can be traced to its colonial past. From the pre-independence era marked by the 1914 amalgamation of diverse ethnic groups to the present day, Nigeria's legal framework has been born against the backdrop of upheavals, socio-economic shifts, as well as constitutional reforms. It is worthwhile to state that the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates set the stage for a legal amalgamation, blending indigenous customary laws with British common law. This fusion created a legal hybrid reflecting the diversity of Nigeria's population. The post-independence period ushered in its best set of challenges as Nigeria grappled with the issue of governance, corruption, military intervention, and human rights abuses. The country's legal and policy landscape became a battleground for addressing these challenges, with various administrations attempting both legal and policy reforms to address the evolving needs of the society. And the key question for us of attempts to either enact or put in place solutions, structures for legal or policy reforms. What has been our story? And how has that story help us to be on the right path of a better society? Of particular note, during the nation's military era, which spanned from 1966 to 1999, the country experienced a significant impact on law and policies. The military regimes imposed authoritarian rule, which led to a series of suspension of democratic institutions and the promulgation of decrees to maintain control. During this period, legal frameworks were frequently altered to suit the military's objective, with a focus on consolidating power. Human rights greatly suffered within this period as civil liberties were curtailed and political dissent was suppressed. The legal system was characterized by ignorance and the due process was also compromised. Economic policies were also influenced with decentralized control and state intervention being a prominent feature of state-citizen relations. While there were attempts to implement reforms such as anti-corruption measures, the overall legacy of the military era of law and policy in Nigeria was to a large extent marked by a huge deviation from democratic principles and the rule of law. That experience changed after 1999. Although the transition to civil rule in 1999 necessitated a reassessment and reconstruction of law and policy frameworks to restore democratic governance and principles. Generally, the journey of law and policy in the fourth republic can be said to be far from linear. It has been marked by both periods of progress and also setbacks. On the positive side, laws and policies of the fourth republic have fostered democracy, to some extent promoted human rights, and addressed some social challenges that the country confronts. In addition, anti-corruption measures have been introduced to enhance transparency and accountability. Social policies have also targeted education, healthcare, and poverty reduction with the goal of improving living standards of citizens. Also, several environmental laws have tried to manage resource sustainability. A few days ago, the World Assembled in UAE to look at the impact of climate change as we think the future of humanity. And for us in this country, the question also is that what are those legal regimes that need to be in place to protect our future in the context of climate change? It is not an agricultural issue. It is not a political issue. It has huge legal implications, and the backlash are also areas that I think we can reflect on. In terms of the pitfalls, law and policy in Nigeria since the fourth republic have seen challenges such as corruption, lack of trust, weak enforcement mechanisms, as well as inadequate implementation. Lawmaking in Nigeria faces problems like political interference, delays in legislative processes, inadequate public participation, and inconsistency in legal frameworks. Law implementation in Nigeria faces challenges such as inadequate resources, lack of enforcement capacity, political interference, weak institutions, and insufficient public awareness and education about the laws and how these laws are to protect citizens. Law interpretations are hindered by factors such as vague legal language, outdated statutes, inconsistency within the legal system, and varying interpretation by different judicial authorities. I deliberately refuse to put the situation we have in black here because I also don't want to prevent some of those pronouncements that have come at the level of the Supreme Court. They are conversant with the crisis we have. The discussion today is that there are conflicting judgments by the judge regarding the position of the people when it comes to the election. This is just one. So if within the bar and the bench, we are confronted with this conflict, to the laymen and women like me outside who rely on the learned gentlemen and women seated here to give interpretations is that we work with the party and the outcome of that election. Now, as we think through the role of the Nigerian Bar Association in the promotion of law and policy in the interest of peace, security, and development of Nigeria, it is important to also state that the NBA plays a multifaceted role in shaping and implementing the framework that can contribute to peace, security, and development in Nigeria, while also working that legal professionals appear to the highest standard. But can the NBA be said to be on the path of achieving its aims, especially as it concerns the promotion of justice, fairness? This is a rhetorical question, but generally I do not think that the problem has always been the kind of laws or policies we frame. We have always had robust laws and policies in Nigeria. For instance, we have had good policies that were aimed at promoting empowerment, especially the youth and women, and alleviating poverty. Looking at these policies as face value, the intentions are right and the articulations are almost perfect. But what happens to the standards of the implementation of this policy? That's the matter. I think the problem we have comes at two levels. First is the failure of the executive to adequately implement laws, and the second is the judiciary, and that is the way we implement the laws and the new use of technicalities in obfuscating what the law intends to achieve. As a result, the ship of state is going to wilderness on account of weak rule of law and policy interpretation and implementation, as well as the conflict between those who make the laws, those who interpret the laws, and those who implement the laws. If we are going to direct the Nigerian ship of justice to the right road, the NBA has a serious role to play in terms of critically evaluating our laws and ensuring that those laws that are paid are either expunged or that they are updated to reflect current realities. Secondly, the lawyers, which most members of the NBA are, or almost all lawyers of the NBA are, need to play a role, a major role in terms of ensuring on the high or low or high. In addition, the NBA should ensure that the policies that need to be pursued are policies that are effective, realistic, and inclusive in terms of ethnic and religious inclusivity, gender inclusivity, and that the merit spread of women, and education, as also very little has been done in terms of carrying the law in policy implementation and policy implementation. There is therefore an urgent need to ensure that robust laws that are inclusive are framed and pursued. And just one example, the focus today is about women prisoners in the context of how we demonstrate the quantity of if the police council is simply to discuss issue of police police shared by the president, how many women? No. The country of 210. If the National Defense Council is to sit to discuss issue of defense, in the country of 210 million, how many women are represented in that? And if the National Security Council is a country of 210 million, how many women are represented in that? No. That is just one of the absence of gender in security policy. This would be a task that the NBA will pursue. That on the basis, this is not one. We need to focus on the basis of policy, you will see the gap. And that's why you need everything what Bella said. You should not shake someone's head assets, but you should shake the head of people for help. In conclusion, I will challenge you all in the course of the conversation today, this week, to reflect and keep an eye on those critical issues that are the raised for national prosperity and development. Once we can do that with large extent, Nigeria will be on the path of justice, equity, fairness, prosperity, and progress. I also challenge you all to advocate for more judicial activity to strengthen our democracy and promote the rule of law. Judicial activism describes the role of the judiciary in strengthening democracy and promoting the rule of law. Judicial activism will help build public trust and confidence in the judiciary, promote legal certainty, and play a crucial role in social and political reform. As members of the Nigerian Bar Association, you are entrusted with the sacred duty of upholding the principle of justice, defending the right of the vulnerable, and contributing to the development of a legal system that stands as a beacon of hope in our nation. So, you have to do more as a bench, as individuals, and members of the bar to uphold the fair principle of justice, equity, and fairness in this country. And when we do that as a collective, then we are part of the society, the country that we work for. Thank you very much. And I look forward to
Please, a round of applause. Professor Stephen. Very thankful for provoking thoughts this morning. I'm sure persons will contribute in this conversation, and all of us perhaps will have ample opportunity subsequently to engage. So I sincerely thank you despite the health challenge you've been able to stand here for the length of time that you have stood. Thank you so much, sir. When you mention gender, the greatest applause is generated from this side of the hall. I don't know how to explain why, but I suspect we know why. But these are actually facts. In a certain church congregation, the pastor said, those men who are controlled by their wives should move to one side of the church. And virtually all the men moved, meaning that they were being controlled by their wives. But there was a certain man who stayed put. And the reason was, wow, this must be a spectacular gentleman. His wife doesn't control him. And then the reverend now sought to know, God, so your wife said, now my wife said, I sit down here. So sometimes, you know, but I've always said this. You know, sometimes this law can be so unfair. So unfair. I've told you this before. You look at the way that our laws are made. There's nothing for the private citizen. Everything belongs to the government. You build a house, you find petroleum, it belongs to the government. You farm, you find gold, it belongs to the government. You find common and tin, as it is the case of Plateau State, it belongs to the government. But the day government mistakenly finds cocaine in your house, it belongs to you. I don't know why. Since everything belongs to the government, if they find cocaine in your house, you should be not doing it now. So, anyway, we have to smile in the midst of whatever it is we do. So thank you so very much. The people who are actually supposed to discuss today's paper, Professor Opo Aluko, Senior Advocate in Nigeria, is not here, as well as the Honorable Attorney General, but they are here represented by people who will competently do so. So I've been asked to give them 10 minutes each to contribute their voices in respect of the subject matter just raised by our keynote speaker. So I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Eno Ibumoto, who represents Professor Aluko. Just some few minutes to discuss the paper. Please let's welcome you to the podium. Thank you very much.
Good morning or good afternoon. I don't think I'm close to big. I'm not too heavy, so I can lead on the existing protocol. It will not fall or break. I can be just informed, Professor Lobo, SN, is supposed to be the discussant. I was supposed to be a discussant in this matter, but unavoided being absent. The shoes are too big for me to wear, so I'll just do what we call an episiotomy. That is scratching it at the surface of what is expected to say. So I'll go this way. I've been introduced already. Well, it's not a story or news to know that Nigeria is a federation and we operate a three-tier of government, the federal, the state, and the local government. And when we come to the issue of law, we operate the legislatures, the judiciary, and the executive system of government. And when we talk about law and policy, we discover that they work hand in hand. There's a nexus between the two. That the legal system is designed in such a way that it ensures that no one is above the law. Because our constitution has said so. And the rule of law should be upheld at all times. However, in practice, it is not so. You can bear witnesses with me that it is not so in practice. Particularly in cases where you have the power for in court, taking decisions or maybe the judges or justices taking decisions that even sometimes they regret because they are put in a kind of a position that they are forced or made to make decisions which is not in tandem with the rule of law. I was discussing with one of my friends, I told him when he was complaining about judges making, I said, you don't know the pressure they go through. I said, nobody wants to lose his family. And at times, these judges are made to see that you either make this judgment in this way or you lose your family. And I remember some 2 years ago when I was doing my master's in the University of Jos, a magistrate from National State came and we had discussion. And he said he had to resign because he was made to read a judgment that he didn't write. And he had to resign from the magistrate, for being the magistrate. And that is some of the issues that we see in the country today. There have been series of instances where politicians or government officials have been accused of corruption, abuse of power, and other offenses, but have gone unpunished due to their influence and connections within the political system. In some cases, the judiciary has been compromised or undermined, leading to lack of accountability for those in power. Furthermore, you discover that political violence and electoral malpractice are not uncommon in Nigeria, which can also lead to disregard for the rule of law. In such cases, the political interests of individuals or groups and override legal considerations, leading to situations where the law is not effectively enforced. So, talking about law and the policy and when or how it is being implemented is a case that one needs to look at. Overall, while Nigeria has a robust legal framework, the guest speaker has said it, and I think my chairman, the chairman of the bank, said it also, or somebody else has said it. We don't lack laws in this country. I teach comparative constitutional law in the university, and the master's level, and I tell my students that Nigeria has the best of laws in the world. But our issue is implementation of those laws. If you take our laws, perhaps to other laws in other jurisdictions, you discover that we have the best. But coming to implementation, we are lacking seriously. So overall, I said Nigeria has a very robust system of legal framework, but there are instances where politicians override the law, leading to the lack of accountability and disregard for the law. The relationship between law and politics or policies in Nigeria is a complex and intertwined one. Nigeria is a country with a federal system of government that I mentioned, with 36 states of the federation. And you discover that the constitution guarantees that each of these governments are supposed to be autonomous. Or you discover that coming to practice, the federal system or the people in the federal system will not even allow the states to work. If you go to the states, you discover that the state government will not allow the local government to function. But these are supposed to be a different or entire autonomous system of government, where federation is also supposed to be work, is supposed to be being practiced. But you discover that this is not the situation. The constitution of Nigeria is supposed to be supreme. I use the word supposed because it is no longer supreme, as the case is in practice. But it's supposed to be the supreme law of the land and provide for the separation of powers among the executive, the legislative, and the judicial arm of government. It is of recent, and I think it's in the news, that we made several states the separation of powers or the judicial autonomy is on paper and not in practice. These are some of the concerns of looking at the economy of the politics in Nigeria. Politics in Nigeria has also been shaped by the history of military rule, ethnic and religious divisions, corruption and economic challenges. The country has experienced numerous political crises, including coups, ethnic and religious conflicts, and election-related violence. These are issues of policy and law. The law plays a crucial role in addressing these challenges and ensuring stability in Nigeria. The legal system in Nigeria is based on English common law, customary law, and Islamic law in northern part of Nigeria. The judiciary itself is independent and has the power to interpret and enforce the law, but it is not being allowed or given the freedom to do so. In recent years, there have been efforts to strengthen the rule of law in Nigeria. The government has implemented judicial reforms aimed at improving the efficiency and effectiveness of the legal system. There have been initiatives to combat corruption and improve transparency in the political process. The nexus between law and policy in Nigeria is complex, I've repeated, and constantly evolving. The law plays a crucial role, ensuring stability and addressing challenges facing the country. However, the effectiveness of the legal system in Nigeria is hampered by corruption, inefficiency, the lack of resources. Effort to strengthen the rule of law and combat corruption are ongoing and will be crucial to Nigeria's future if the system will permit it to do so. There have been also several cases in Nigeria where the laws have been overridden by politics. I just want to mention a few of those cases. With due respect, my laws will also see that some of these things, the courts have tried to bring the system to bear, but the political class have refused. I just want to mention a few cases. One of the cases is the issue of the removal of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onoge, in 2019. There was a far cry that what the president, the then Major General Mohammed Buhari has done is a political move that is seen as politically motivated. But the Nigerian Bar Association is sending another legal body challenge the removal, arguing that it violated the constitution. Eventually, the court ruled that the president did not have the power to remove the Chief Justice without due process. But what was the outcome of it? The executive never implemented it. Another case in question that I would like us to mention is the issue of June 12 in 1993, when Nigeria held a presidential election that was widely considered to be the best, the free and fair election ever conducted in Nigeria, where the candidate was a popular businessman, a philanthropist who was expected to usher in a new era of democracy and prosperity. However, the military at that time annulled the election, citing irregularities. This led to protests and protracted legal battle with Abiola and his supporters, arguing that the election was valid despite the political turmoil that followed. The case demonstrated the importance of the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary in upholding democratic principles. Just to mention these two cases so that we understand that law and policy work hand in hand. Where the law works and there are no policies to guide it, you discover that you end up doing nothing. And when policies are made and there are no laws guiding it, you discover that the law and the policy will not sanction or prove or bring about a good system of government. With these few points, I want to say that the title or the topic of this discussion today is very apt and is very controversial. And as an academician, I will not want to dive into several things because there's some of us that say aspiring to be something. So on these 3 months, I want to draw and say thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause to Dr. Holman, who in a few minutes has also raised a representative of the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Joel Tafran, to also present his discussion. Let's put our hands together. Thank you so much for coming.
I would like to stand on protocol already established. Sincerely, some would have witnessed that I was seated at the back there when it was realized that the Attorney General also was there and is not there. And somebody scouted for me and I was picked on behalf of come here. And sincerely, the Attorney General never asked me to make this presentation on his behalf. But I have to say a word or two on his behalf. He is held up due to our state functions, so able to be here. He expressed his desire to be here, to participate in the government's activities, but unfortunately, he is not here. He has asked me, however, to congratulate the NBA judge for a well-organized lobbying. This can be attested to from the unprecedented registration and attendance at the programs of the lobby. The theme for the law week is art, statement, and jargon. Law and policy. A checker policy. Indeed, law and policy have a common mission for all in society. Although they are autonomous in several aspects, they are not strange bedfellows, but cordial bedfellows. Just as John the Baptist prepared the way for the Lord Jesus Christ, policy is an outline of the law. As lawyers, the takeaway for us, to me, is that whereas law grants rights, policy grants no rights but privileges. The last speaker said the topic is controversial. And indeed, because of the office I'm coming from, I wish to say no more. Thank you very much. Sorry, your Gloria in Excellency.
Thank you very much. Please let us dance together for the representative of the Attorney General. Looks like we all want to avoid the controversy. Alright, but whatever we take away the FG, Black Toyota Camry, so please go out. He's probably blocking someone. Before we look into this next segment, permit me to say this. I have met many people who have said, lawyers like money, lawyers like money, lawyers like money. Let me tell you the truth. Lawyers don't like money. They don't like money at all. They love money. There was this lawyer. There was this lawyer who was happy with himself, bought a new car, parked by the roadside, admiring his car. Then an oncoming vehicle came, almost killed him, rammed the car. And then the lawyer who managed to stand on his feet was shouting, "Hell, do you know what you have done? This is rescuing son of Peter. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to recover damages. This is negligence." And someone passed him and came down and said, "This lawyer is like money. You're here shouting about your car. You didn't even notice that your arm has been ripped off." That was when he noticed for the first time that his arm had been ripped off. He was lying on the floor. So when his attention was brought to the fact that his arm had been ripped off, he now looked and he said, "Oh my God, my Rolex wristwatch on his arm." He was not concerned about the arm, he was concerned about the wristwatch. So sometimes you get as a picture. Anyway, we're going to take some few questions. Loretta is with the microphone. Or you have a brief comment. This segment is not going to last more than 10-15 minutes at most. A brief comment or a question we would appreciate. Can you indicate? Yes, Loretta, Mr. Eisenberg. Okay, sorry. Mr. I don't know, I'm so sorry. Can you give me the microphone? Loretta. Sorry, I picked up the name. Sorry.
Thank you. You forgot my name. I'm Chief. Chris Abongari. You can't question that. It's a policy. I've read very up to questions. I look at every classroom. Okay. the line between law and policy. And what happens to the policies that are not lawful. I remember in the national conference, after the 2014 conference, there were 630 resolutions at the conference I had. So about 50 of us delegates to the